Hello to you all, and thank you for joining me today. We're going to be taking a run through and doing a quick event recap of the Coventry 3-day Super Major that I attended just this weekend past. It was an awesome event. It was the first time I've done a 3-day event, and my body was absolutely broken and worn down towards the end, and had to have a day's recovery with from my voice. But we're back at it now. Again, thank you for joining me. Everyone I met there, all the people that I knew before, and all the new friends that I've made along the way during the course of this event. Had an absolutely amazing time, and we got our first reward from a Super Major or GT style event. We took home the best in faction for Chaos and subsequently the Death Guard. So we are super stoked from this. It's our first sort of real achievement at one of the UKTC events, and it was such a fun time to be had, and had some incredible games with, and I say some incredible opponents. Had the best time over the course of the 3 days. So we will have a quick run through of an overall event, and then I'll talk quickly on the rounds. I did manage to take videos and pictures over all of the rounds. I believe I might have missed some on round 8 because I suffered from a migraine, which my opponent very graciously helped me work my way through at the table, and we still had a fantastic game. So I will be trying to do the back reps and putting them up as soon as possible. So do look out for them, but this will be just kind of a quick overview of how the rounds went and how the matchup went. And yeah, thank you everybody for supporting and coming up and saying hello to me at the event. It was really great to see all the people and everyone enjoying Death Guard and everything like that. But yeah, if you are enjoying the channel content, please do give a like, a subscribe, and a comment down below. And yeah, we'll move on to the event recap and the rounds. Thank you very much. So a quick run through of my list and sort of my MVPs and LVPs of the event. We did run the Champions of Contagion, and we've got here the Biologist Putrifier and the Plaguecasters. They always go with a 10-man. The 10-man are a mixture of shooting and melee. We've got the Melters. The Melters I can see changing to the Plasmas. There's not as many knights around there, any like truly big things that you want to hurt hard. There are lots of demons that I saw at the event, so maybe it's worth sticking there. I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of one Melter, one Plasma as well. Just to sort of balance out and have someone to kill when you feel hazardous with the sorcerer. The Lord of Contagion, don't really say much about him. He goes with the Death Shroud, and he hits something hard, quick fives, and usually blows them up. Lord of Poxes, I was very, very happy with. It's a really powerful unit. His melee is very consistent. Again, that 2 damage and the potential devs. I was really pleased with him. The +3 Contagion doesn't come up too often, but in matchups where it does, it's really useful to sort of get that extra range out from him, and to have the characters to double attach into the 5-man. So often I would find myself this event attaching Tallyman with the Lord of Poxes, just so that I've given the 5-man the ability to at least threaten the fights first strat. You don't often have to need to do it, because you can say, I've got a CP, I will fight first if you charge. And then they go, oh, okay, I won't. Or sometimes they do, and you have to use it, but most of the time you don't. It's just a threat, which is good. Lord of Virulence, I don't see myself writing a list without a Lord of Virulence in at the moment. His ability is so good for the efficiency of your army, whether he's pointing at the thing that your Plague Marines want to shoot, whether he's pointing at the things your Blight Hauler wants to shoot, so it's hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, often pointing at the thing that the Heavy Blight Launcher wants to point at, shoot, obviously, for the full reroll to hits, but most of the time, his notch in efficiency allows you to do a lot more damage with your shooting activations. And then it also, if you're attaching to the Blight Lord, which is most of the time he was for me, it gives you that reroll wounds, which the number of shots you're getting with the Combi Bolters and the Reporter Cannon and the Flamers and the unit, it makes this unit quite good on Overwatch. So you've got a good Overwatch unit in multiple places. And yeah, really a big fan of the Blight Lords in general. I think that is part of the Lord of Virulence. So for 285 points, more than happy to have a 6 OC unit that you can go out and put on a point. And one that once they're there, they're not kind of useless like the Death Shroud are, because they still have sort of 24-inch sometimes range of contributing with their shooting. So big fan of the Blight Lords. They did really well. I was after the practice RGT and all the practice games I've had, been very happy with these and the Lord of Virulence. So happy with them. Land Raider is fundamental to the way I play. Being able to push out turn one if I need to, or being able to really pressure the opponent. Land Raider is great for me. Say if I point at something with a lot of virulence, I know that I'm probably going to get 2 or 3 las cannons through, and if they're not saving on an invuln, or if you get through few through, it's some extra damage that you can sort of make it a little bit more reliable than it usually is. Spawn are the best unit in the Codex. I still believe that. Moving 8 and going through walls, the best contagion spreaders we have. Really a big fan of the Spawn. They'll always take 2 on my list until they go up to a crazy point amount, but they're not often that run, so we'll see where they end up in the next balanced state slate. Death Shroud, don't really say much about them. They did their job. Heavy Blight Launcher Drone, I think I only needed 1 to threaten lanes. The other lanes were covered by the Terminators or whatever it was. So this was just sort of like a corner, like side of the map shooter, and it could get angles onto things. And if your opponent has something like 8 bound, you just pick them up with that. So happy with that. And then the one player hauler. Threatening to be able to get the melters through onto transports or something big means that they push back. Played World Eaters, they had Forge Fiends. You just move up and say, cool, right, here's the 2 melters. If you fail either of them, you're probably going to die. So happy with the Blight Hauler to sort of really good at providing screening as well to make sure that your deployment, there's not too many units in this army, and you always wanted to be pushing forward. So I found you can generally screen quite well with the Poxwalkers, the Blight Hauler, and the drone, and the Tallyman if he's on his own, and the rest of it you're sort of slowly moving forward until you don't need to screen anymore. And then we're rounding out with 2 Poxwalkers. They'll infiltrate if they need to, they'll hold home if they need to. 65 points, you can't really argue with them. But that's the list. No real standout each game because there's 8. Some people underperformed, some people overperformed. I'm still really happy with the way the list played. I'll probably take a break and see if I can come back to it with fresh eyes. Say I might drop the 10-man Plague Marines and see what else I can fit in there for that point value. But it works well, and I'm happy with the list performance. So first of all, congratulations to Jack Type for winning the whole event. I've not gone back yet to see any of the games on stream. I think he was on stream like 3 or 4 times on his win path. So congratulations to Jack, showing that Sisters are very strong in the meta at the moment. And one of my tryhard teammates, Will, did absolutely fantastically with Sisters as well. I think he went 6-2 here, but yeah, he said he jumped over from Tau and did an amazing job with an all melee Adeptus Sororitas list. Also, another Sisters player here in the top 5. So they seem to be their boss seemed a bit innocuous, but it turns out it was enough to get them over the line, and they're going to be a bit of a meta menace, I feel. Taking a quick look at the rest of the top 10, we've got Nids, and then David Gaylord on Space Marines. I saw that he'd done a quick post on the Raven Guard attachment and how he felt about that. I'd definitely go and take a look at that video and that write-up. It was a very interesting read. I managed to dodge Space Marines this event somehow, not quite sure how, because there was quite a lot of representative there of the factions. So yeah, that was probably fortunate on my part. But yeah, did another great performance from David there. Ben Jones on his Eldari, that's a common staple event at the moment. Ben's smashing it with his Eldari as always. And then we've got Ashton Latarum and Josh P on his Orcs. I think Orcs seem to be doing quite well at this event as well. I played Orcs twice. There was a good representation of Orcs. And then Craig Bedford, I did get a chance to catch up with Craig at the event. Lovely dude. He said, yeah, Black Templars were just doing business for him. He was happy with how they performed. Craig is someone who has played Death Guard in the past. I know he does it in teams. I think he said it's a slight dimension change for the Black Templars to Death Guard, but it's good to see him having a good performance there. Then we've got a couple more things. We've got Dark Angels doing quite well. Jay from Vanguard Tactics. Got Votan up here. I didn't see many Votan at the event, so well done, Nathan, for that. And then we come down. We eventually get to myself here in 18th place. So we had a bit of a bad day one. 3 great opponents day one. Had a great time there. We'll go through that sort of in as we go round by round. But yeah, this was the win path we had. And as mentioned, I think I finished my round 8 fairly early on. The orcs that I was playing just couldn't roll any sort of saves, and -1 to hit was meaning there was failing a lot more than they should have been for their attacks. So it kind of ended up that we knew how the game was going to end up. So we ended up adding up our battle points and figuring out who else could potentially take the best in faction. And there was, I think, Alex Parnell, who was also on the Death Guard, who was playing a Sisters opponent, and he could have taken best in faction as well. And then I think there was a World Eaters who was there, but unfortunately those guys both lost their last round. So at that point we knew that we'd taken home the best in faction. So yeah, very pleased with that. Say it's the first time I've got a big sort of event medal, and it's a great feeling. So going to move on to the round by rounds. A quick note on the event and the location. The location was great. The hall was plenty big enough. There was only one food truck there. It would have been nice if there was a couple or more, because the queues did get a little bit big at lunch. But it wasn't terrible. You could still manage to get some stuff there. And the toilet situation was a little bit sketchy. There was only one downstairs and then a couple upstairs, but it seemed to be okay. Every time I went, there wasn't sort of a massive queue there. So all in all, great event. Zach and the team and all the refs. I want to thank all the refs and everything for always being great. I know that there's a bit of things on Reddit going on with some things that went on the event, but I never saw anything untoward, and did I have to call the ref over a couple of times in some of my games just for judge rules and rulings and things like that, and it was always a quick and effective solution. So yeah, great event to attend. Always love going to the UKTC events, and yeah, it's recommended for anyone. It was a couple of people there that only had gone there. It was their first event. Some people had gone there on their own and didn't really know anybody, and then lots of people just go because they obviously enjoy it. So we'll move on to other rounds next, and then we'll take a quick look at how the rest of the Death Guard players did, because we did do the sort of preview of the event, and so we'll see how everybody did there. So taking a look at the sort of matchups I had here, Adam Robinson was running the Berserker Warband. He was an excellent first round opponent, exactly what you want when you turn up to the event. So we had to drive down from Warrington. We decided to go the first thing in the morning rather than spending the night there, Thursday night there. So we rocked up and we turned up pretty much as doors opened. I think it was 10:30, ready for the 11 a.m. start. And Adam was, he was at the table, and we got the best thing you can get when you rock up to a table. We got one on the end, so we were able to easily communicate and go around and see 3/4 of the board sides. And absolutely fantastic game with Adam. It was really quite close up until I think it was turn 3 or end of turn 3, where he ran out of a lot of resources. So we did end up taking the win here. It was 73-55, so not a huge gap, and not a big score on there, considering it was Terraform. But it was an excellent opponent. Played the game really well, and I think the heavy blight launcher drones took out an 8-pound unit early on, and yeah, it was a fun game. Really nice opponent. And exactly what you want to say for round 1. Going into quick turnaround of lunch, and then we get paired against Simon Evans, who was on Astra Militarum, and it's combined arms. There was 2 Dawns in this list, and I think I did not respect them as much as I probably should have. We end up losing 91 to 61 here. I think towards the last couple of rounds, I didn't have particularly many resources left, and I was scratching away to try and get some extra points. I was never going to be able to catch him. I think I tried an 11-inch charge a couple of times with the CP reroll because it would have got me a kill point and things like that, but just didn't end up making them. Simon played a great game. At the end, we sort of discussed it after, and I think I went a bit too aggressive. I think turn one, he'd sort of pre-staged, he went first, and I got tempting target, and I could do tempting target with getting the Plague Marines out of the Land Raider, and I killed a decent amount, but a lot of the things were not the killy things on his side. So yeah, probably went a bit too aggressive there. But again, a great opponent, very communicative, and move on to round 3. We got Alex Cameron. This was the first Orcs that we played at the event, so it was a really, really close game. So the round 3 is hidden supplies. So primary is a big struggle, especially against a army that's got a lot of models that can run out of you and cover like the 4 midpoints effectively. At the end of the game, we sort of discussed my fatal mistake, and that was I pushed my Land Raider down to go out towards the right objective to sort of deal with the early screens there. And what I realistically should have done is move that Land Raider in the middle of the board and made it a threat and had the OC. If I'd have done that, potentially could have held a primary on a few more turns, but I didn't. I think after round 2, when I pushed too aggressively, I maybe went against my own game plan, which is something that is an interesting topic in terms of 40k, because a lot of times you want to be playing your game plan against most opponents. Obviously, certain times that changes. If you're going against an entire gun line or you're going against something pure melee, you do have to sort of adjust yourself. And it's probably something that I should have done against the round 2 opponent. I should have gone, right, well, no, I need to stage here. Forget the tempting target. If I do too much here, I'm going to lose too much. So I think against Alex and his Orcs, I went, if I push too hard here, I'm going to lose too many resources and I'm not going to have enough to score primer at the end because I was going second at the bottom of the turn. So I think at the start of that game, I was thinking, if I can kill enough to the point where at the end of the game I can score 15s, that'll be fine. But what ended up happening was I probably played too defensively, and then didn't utilize my resources well at the end game, so I just didn't score the primary that I needed there. There was lots of things in this game that sort of ended up in coin flips. Typhus rolling a 1 on his mortals to do minimum of 1 mortals to something that then scored, I think, 9 points on a swing, and an 11-inch charge from Gretchen onto a drone, which denied me primary going into whatever turn that was. So yeah, there was it was a fun game. It was a challenging game. I think I realised, and this was something I was discussing with my clubmates at the end, the drive down on the day with the early start, and then the 3 games with it being sort of back to back. It was a bit too much. Definitely to take that into consideration for further events is going to it with a fresh mind, because there was lots of mistakes that I was making in that round 3 game, and I say it sort of took me out of my stride to be able to play the game that I wanted to play. So something just as a thought exercise, just try and obviously keep yourself in the best condition you can, and then when you come up against a new game after you've just taken a loss or even a victory, if you play the game and you only just win it and you know that you should be doing something different, make sure you can play your game that you know, because you can reset yourself into that sort of mindset of, I know what this unit does, I know where this unit can go, and then you can utilize and learn from your mistakes is the main takeaway, which later on we do end up playing Orcs again later on. So we do remember our mistakes of this game further down the line, and it benefits us in the long run. So that's it. We go back to the Airbnb that we've got. There's a few of us that have gone down. My local club's the East Warrington Gaming Club, to give those guys a shout out. Really good place. If you're up in the Northwest, do come by and play at our local club. There's multiple games of 40k on every Thursday. So yeah, come up and take a look around and play some of the guys from the club. So we get there, and our opponent is Charles. And he's playing a Fellhammer Zeeto list. There's a bit of a story to the start of this game. I won't go into it now, but I'll cover it in the battle round. It was to do with sort of basing and battle readiness of the armies, but we managed to work it through. And shout out again to the refs; they did an excellent job of sort of resolving the situation. We ended up starting the game a bit late, but we all came out of it as friends, and we managed to work our way through sort of a sticky situation, but we do end up taking the victory to 93 to 50. So that's 2-2 at the moment, and next up we have Kylo Turley, and he is running Adeptus Custodes and the Sealed Host. So round 5 is taking hold. So again, whoever goes second has a pretty big advantage in terms of being able to score primary at the bottom of the turn. So we knew that if we go first, we kind of have to tempt him out, but try and kill him as fast as we can. So that's sort of what we end up doing, and it becomes a really, really close game. Carlo is an excellent opponent, and we take the victory 81 to 75. I think in the last turn, I was 11 points ahead with the secondaries still to draw for him. So I think there's only a couple of secondaries that are possible in terms of the being able to get the draw for him there. And I think he doesn't draw what he needs. So yeah, he's not quite able to catch up. But yeah, he thinks he still had the Wardens and the Custodian Guards left, and then I still had some of the Plague Marines left on the other side of the board. So at the end of the game, we were very much split apart, and it was just a case of what can we actually score. So yeah, had a fantastic game against Kylo. So we managed to go positive, and I think in the sort of preview video that I did, I was saying my aim is try and get at least the 4 wins so that we can go 4-4. So if we manage to get the win today, we will be 4-2. So we'll see what our opponent is to do that. And we match up against Nathan Rogers from Vanguard Tactics. And Nathan ended up playing Sean again, who earlier in the event. And I remember speaking to Sean at lunchtime. I think he said that Nathan was an absolute gent. He was one of his favourite opponents to play. And I think I was littered with fantastic opponents, to be honest. Nathan was absolutely stellar. What you'd want from an opponent with absolutely everything. Communication was extremely clear. Making sure that everything was going on, being clear about reactive moves, and I think the Saboteurs and the GSCs, if you move within 9, then they can do some mortals to you. So it's a case of, reminding me of everything like that. But absolutely fantastic game, thoroughly enjoyed, and if any of you get the pleasure to play Nathan, you'll have a fantastic time. We do take the win 98 to 69. He was playing the Biosantic Brood Surge detachment, just to clear that up with the GSC. I think we both went up to the table knowing that the 2 most important dice rolls in the game are going to be who gets to deploy first, because he has 4 or 5 infiltrating units, and I have the 2 units of Potswalkers. I won the roll-off and then chose to be the defender so that I could put my Potswalkers pretty much bang in the middle of the board. He said, yep, if you didn't do that, I would be putting a unit just inside of his big L-shaped rune, because now we are playing Terraform again. So round 6 restarted back from round 1. He would do that. So he said, yeah, that was a very important move. Obviously, that's something that I identified as well. I don't care if those Potswalkers die. They need to stop the charge from, and all the pre-scouting from the aberrants. And the second important role was to see who goes first. And Nathan did win that roll off. So I thought I was going to be jumped. I thought those Gene Steelers on the sort of the left side terrain, which is his natural expansion, they were just going to charge at me. But I think this is where the double attaching of the Taliban and the Lord of Poxes came into the mindset of the opponent quite a lot, because obviously I'm saying I can fight first for a CP on that point. So if you send in the 10-man Gene Steelers and I've got like 15 heavy plague weapon attacks, he's going to lose a lot there, and he might not have enough. And obviously, I'm choosing -1 to hit against G Steelers because they're pretty much on their invuln save anyway. So instead of being swarmed, I think Nathan thought about it a little bit and talked himself out of it. He even said, usually these guys just yeet across the board. And he had 2 units of the Gene Steelers ready to pounce, and he didn't pull the trigger with them, which meant that I had to. So on his, he didn't do any. He didn't come forward turn 1, and I pushed out as much as I could turn 1 so that I could try and take the initiative. So yeah, it was a really fun game to play. I think the number of attacks that he was getting through was obviously reduced because of the -1 to hit. And yeah, a couple of things ended up going my way. I think he failed. He failed a couple of objectives, which he was very close to getting, and then it just meant that the score ended up running away with me. But absolutely, one of my favourite games of the weekend. Such a pleasure to play. Thank you for the game, Nathan. I hope to play again at an event soon. So that was it. We're now 4-2. We're feeling very happy with the event so far. So it was tricky to set a goal for an 8-round event. The previous GTs I've been to, I've managed to go 4-1. And always sort of said 4-1's the goal, ±1. Happy with either. We'll obviously be very happy with the 5-0. So at 4-2, we're feeling pretty good. If we can get another win on the Sunday, we're feeling probably a realistic expectation of 5-3. And then if we can win both, then we're in dreamland, and that's what we did end up doing. So very, very proud of what I managed to achieve there. But we check our matchup in the morning. One thing I do want to sort of say that I found a lot better, not checking your next round matchup the night before. After my brain specifically doesn't shut down very well when I've got this sort of probably anxiety about it, where I know what the matchup is, so I'm trying to think of everything I could possibly do. So I spoke with the guys before, let's say they're stopping at the Airbnb, and just said, don't tell me my matchup. I don't want to know. I want to have a good night's sleep. I don't want to be thinking all night, oh, what happens if they scout here? What happens if they infiltrate here? And all this sort of thing. So we check in the morning, and we get Ashley Farn here. And this is another World Eaters. It's a Berserker Warband again. And this was a little bit more of a meta list, I would say, compared to the first round with Adam. So this was the Demon Prince and the single Slaughterbound with the Exalted, and Khan with the Rhinos and 3 Spawn. And as I mentioned, I was kind of blessed with some incredible opponents. Ashley was an incredible person to play. We were laughing all the way through, and he's messaged me since. He said it was a really fun game for him too, and he enjoyed seeing Death Guard played like World Eaters. If you know, you obviously watch the videos, and sort of, I tend to be quite an aggressive Death Guard player. The Land Raider helps me push out and make early charges and everything like that. So we set up early, sort of staged, and turn 2, I was like, yep, I'm going. And he was maybe a little bit taken aback by that. And I killed a lot, and I buried him down in a well. And that guy fought out of a terrible position better than anything I've ever seen. He clawed and got his way into the game and absolutely obliterated some things, made the right decisions. And yeah, I'm looking forward to recreating this one on TTS, because yeah, there was fantastic decisions made in by both players. It came down to the end where at the end of round 3 we sort of like, right, well, you're always going to score max on hold more and hold because it's his purge again. And I'm probably going to get a kill and kill more because he can't just get across. He can't get across the board to do anything to stop that. And there's enough things out in the open that I should be able to do. So it was kind of a game of figuring it out. And as long as I could score something on secondaries, then I should be able to take the win. And that's how it ended up playing out in the end. It was an 81-74 victory for myself. And to be honest, after round two, my round two, it looked like it was an instant win for me. After his round three, it looked like there was no way he was going to lose. So it was a roller coaster game, and I would love to play Ashley again at any point. And it was a fantastic opponent. So we are now in 5-2 land, and this is where I'd say my brain sort of started attacking me, and I started getting a migraine. So I took the sort of tablets and went and had some leftover dominoes from the night before and just chilled out in the cool breeze, and wasn't feeling particularly great. Obviously, with knowing that after the event I would have to drive home as well. But Gaz, the teammate that I drove down with, he said absolutely no problem. He can drive back if needs be. So it was sort of like a relief there. And then I went to the table, we got our pairings, and it's Robert Atkinson. And I check. In fact, I don't even think I checked when. By the time he come over, I said, "Oh, what are you playing?" He said, "Oh, yeah, I'm playing Orcs Green Tide." I was like, "Okay." I explained to him the situation that I was currently in. It was getting slightly better, but if anyone suffers from migraines, I saw like a little light circle in the left eye and like the general sort of aura going on. That was generally depleting. I'd managed to take the tablet early enough to help there and drinking lots of water. And so Robert was an absolute gent. He let me. He was very patient with me. Let me work my way back into the game. It helped that he had first turn, so that we could figure this all out. This was the first time we played fixed against an opponent in a long time. With it being Green Tide, he gave up Call the Horde with 6 units and I think Assassinate. You couldn't quite max. You could only get 19 because of the way that they changed the Assassinate points. But yeah, I was like, well, if I have to think less by taking fixed and it's a reasonable way to sort of fight this matchup, I'll give it a go. So we took fixed against him, and turn one, we just ran at him. We thought, we'll try and make this game as quick as possible. I think he went first. He sort of pre-staged everywhere, and he left an opening in certain places, and we just went, cool. I'm going to be on these points, so I'm going to try and sort of score some primary, because, again, I don't want to be defensive like I was against the previous Orcs. I want to make sure that I'm playing to get some primary points, because this is hidden supplies. So we just sent everything out that we possibly could. And, yeah, the -1 to hit really, really swung the game. Typhus attaching to the infiltrating Potswalkers with the mobile vector strat, making them double -1 to hit, so they survived way longer than they should. I think Robert's going to have nightmares about Chaos Spawn from Death Guard, the amount of attacks and mortals they splashed back onto all of the Orcs on the sort of bottom right objective was absolutely insane. But yeah, we end up taking the victory. We max everything 99 to 54, and that puts us at 6-2, which again we were extremely happy with, and couldn't have hoped for more. I don't think. I say the 2 games that we lost were very informative. They helped me realize, yep, sometimes you don't have to go so aggressive. Sometimes you have to be more aggressive. It depends on the matchup. So that was the games that we had. So as a little summary on how Death Guard did at this event, I did manage to take top Death Guard and top Chaos, best in faction, and we won our medal for that. Alex Parnell got very unlucky in his last game. I think he did actually have more battle points than me in the end. He had 12 more battle points, so if he managed to get the win there, he would have taken it from me. Unlucky for him. Apparently, I spoke to him at the end, and he had a fun event. Alex from Headhunters managed to go 5-3, and Lee managed to go 5-1-4. So he had a decent run event. Obviously, I think he played some quite big names in terms of played David Gaillard, played Manny Chima, played Ben Jones. So he has some very tough matchups. Obviously, I believe that the UKTC should, in my opinion, the rankings should be wins, then win path, then battle points, and then strength of schedule. But that's not what UKTC does. It's just wins and battle points. So that's where we've ended up. David McWilliam, he ended up playing one of my clubmates on his last game, and my clubmate was saying, he had an absolute great time playing against David. So if you do watch it, then he had a great time against you, and you had a good result there with 4-4. You've actually got some really high scores there, mate. You've got 100, 90, 93. You've got more battle points than me as well. Death Guard Dave, I did catch up with Dave a lot over the event. He went 4-4. He said that I think it was his 36th loss was against one of the world's best Eldar players, and he says unless you are like super lucky with dice, it's kind of an unwinnable matchup with his list archetype. So it was fine with that. Always happy and cheery, and great to catch up with Dave at the event. And then a couple of the guys down here, a bit more of a struggle. Curtis, I think, dropped on on the Sunday along with Teague, but I did meet James. Said hello to him. He was great to catch up with, and congrats on your 3 wins there. But that's it for Death Guard. We had a reasonable performance there. So 3 go in. 2 going 5 and 3, myself going 6 and 2, and then a few mixed there. One thing I will say is that the overall standard of play at Coventry, the 3-day, was extremely high. Even like on the lower tables, with my few losses early on, was coming against some really, really top quality opponents. So I think it was maybe a bit of a shark tank there. So it was good to see Death Guard performing well. We'll do a sort of a meta wrap-up video. I don't want this one to go on too long. We'll do the round-by-round TTS recreations as we can and get them out for you all. Special shout-out to Kieran Kennett as well. He was someone who helped me with the problems that I had in the first game on round 2. Never met the guy before. He helped me out massively. Part of the 6++ team. I've had lots of interaction with 6++ guys, and they've all been absolutely sound. Always lovely to chat to and lovely to play against. Didn't play against Kieran, but he helped me out massively. So huge shout out to you. Thank you very much. So that's it. Just a final shout out to the club, East Wilmington Gaming. That's my local sort of club I attend, and that's who I've attended the event with Sean and Amir and Gareth. So Gareth ended up going 3 and 5 with his Imperial Knights. He realised after a couple of games that the list just wasn't quite right. So he still went through and played the rest of his games and enjoyed it, and he's had some good opponents. Sean was on his Demons, and he went 4 and 4. Could have swung a couple of things. I know one game he said he failed a charge to win a game, and didn't quite have the CP to re-roll it. And then he said he had some fantastic opponents, so that's great to hear. And then Amir, who it was his first GT event, and to come to a 3-day event and go 4 and 4 with his World Eaters. It was the Slaughterbound detachment. So he said he had a great time there. And going 4 and 4 after having a bit of a tricky time at the club, getting over the line with the wins. He did amazing there. So big shout out to Amir for that one. And he took a Land Raider, which we always love. Regardless of what army you are, if you are taking a Land Raider, then we are happy and that you are doing well. Unless it's Space Marines, because you get Redeemers. And if we could have Redeemers in Death Guard, I would take that every day of the week. A quick look then at the ITC rankings. This is the Global Death Guard, and we managed to get ourselves into 9th position. Pretty happy with this. Only been to the 3 UK majors. So this is our events that we went to. So we went to Leeds and we got 23rd. With the 4 and 1, we went to Manchester and got 4 and 1. and then Coventry. I don't know what the formula is. So we've got 62 here and 18th, but because there was more people at Leeds and Manchester, you get more points. And then 2 local events run by the Laws of War team got us some points here. So yeah, another super major, UKTC super major. Maybe we get another couple, maybe like another 30-40 points if we do well enough, and go up the rankings a little bit more. But we're very pleased with to be in the top 10 for Death Guard. This is the first sort of real year that I've been competing at the events, so it's great to see that I can put up some good results and end up there. In terms of UK specifically, I think I'm 4th now. But I've got Nathan, who's just incredible with the Death Guard, championing sort of the Mortarian's hammer build before it got nerfed, with the multiple drones, and all the sort of spam list with those, but he did absolutely great with there. So good to see Nathan's probably going to be the IC champ there. Aidan, obviously, of the Disgusting Resilient, putting up some great results there. And then Craig Bedford, as mentioned, he was on his Black Templars at Coventry, but he does play Death Guard for Carnage, and is a fantastic player as well. So that's it. Managed to get into top 4 UK, unless Alex Niklik has any events before the reset. Hopefully we can keep in the 4th spot, and we're very happy with that. In terms of UKTC, they have a slightly different time schedule, so they run from LGT to LGT. So they have just reset, obviously. So in terms of Death Guard there, this is the first big event, so a good showing here has put us quite high in the rankings. Obviously, until people get their 4 events, there's no point in truly looking at this, but Aaron Virgo, you are currently number 1 with 2 of 4 events, and then we have managed to set ourselves in 2nd spot. We'll wait for Aidan or Nathan or someone to get a couple of events in there and take that spot off us. But it's nice to be there at the moment, and to say hopefully we get our 4 events registered. We're going to try and convince the wife to let us go to 4 UKTC events this year, and hopefully we get the 4-1 results there that we need, or maybe even finally get a 5-0 result at a GT, which would be lovely. So that's sort of the event wrap up. Do keep an eye out for the videos upcoming, and let me know if you attended the event. It's all a bit of a blur at the moment, but I know I did catch up with a few of us. So yeah, great to see you, and I hope to see you at the next events. The only one I've got currently planned in is Manchester, which is in the new year in February. Christmas is just a crazy time for most people, so I don't think I'll be able to get to any before then, but I really hope I do. Quick reminder to like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Hopefully can keep this sub number ticking up. I think I'm up to 270 now, so hopefully can keep growing the channel, and we will see how we do in the new season.